Okay, picture this. You just finished a massive dinner. I mean, you should be completely satisfied, totally full, and ready to just chill out for the evening. But 10 minutes later, where are you? You're standing right in front of the open fridge, staring into that illuminated abyss. You kind of feel like a bored teenager on summer break, just aimlessly opening and closing the door, wondering if there's maybe a secret second dinner hiding behind the pickle jar. And the weird thing is, you know you aren't actually starving, but your brain is just insistently scanning those shelves for something else. Well, today we're going to talk about exactly why this incredibly frustrating phenomenon happens and what your body is actually trying to tell you.
Now, if you're way past the age where you're supposed to be growing, yet here you are growing in the wrong direction, in that I literally need a new pant size kind of way, you might be carrying around a ton of guilt. We tend to really blame ourselves when we're inexplicably hungry right after a huge meal. But I am here to tell you in this explainer that this constant, nagging hunger, it is absolutely not a lack of willpower on your part. You aren't fundamentally broken. It's actually a fascinating biological paradox playing out inside your very own cells. To really wrap our heads around this paradox, we have to look at a state called hidden hunger. Basically, this is a condition where your body is drastically undernourished at a microscopic cellular level, even if you're significantly overfed with empty calories. Think about it. You might have just eaten over 1,000 calories, but if those calories didn't have the specific microscopic materials your cells need to actually do their jobs, your body is still going to trigger the starvation alarm. So let's dive into this and decode the major warning signs your body uses to signal this deep cellular malnourishment. Starting right off with Section 1, the daily glitches, fatigue, and cravings. So our first major signal is what I like to call the 2 p.m. wall. We have all hit this. It's that incredibly precise drop in energy right in the mid-afternoon where your brain suddenly turns into a 1996 dial-up modem, just totally struggling to load a single thought, and suddenly your eyelids feel like they weigh about 40 pounds each. Now, you probably try to push through it and fix it with a massive cup of coffee, but let's be entirely honest here. That doesn't actually give you real energy. It just turns you into a highly anxious, caffeinated zombie staring blankly at a spreadsheet. What's actually happening during that crash isn't just Monday being Monday or bad sleep. Your mitochondria, those are the tiny power plants operating inside your cells. They're basically trying to run a marathon with absolutely no shoes on. They are actively begging for specific cellular spark plugs to create actual, sustained energy. We're talking primarily about B12 and iron here. Without those key nutrients, you aren't a high-functioning engine. You're just a very tired, human-shaped container of lattes trying to survive the workday. Actually, if you want a quick check for this right now, go look in the mirror. If your tongue looks unusually pale or overly smooth, that's a rapid biological indicator that your internal battery is just completely empty. Have you ever had a craving so loud and persistent it feels like a high-stakes hostage negotiation happening inside your own head? Well, that is your brain acting as a terrible, confused translator. It loudly screams that it's bored and hungry, demanding immediate access to salty chips or sweet treats. But the biological reality? It's a completely different story. Your cells are actually desperate for crucial minerals like magnesium and zinc. The problem is, your brain just doesn't know how to ask for complex minerals by their scientific names, so it just hopes if you eat enough of absolutely anything in the pantry, you'll eventually stumble across what it actually needs. You aren't truly hungry for those chips. Your cells are just looking for a spark plug, and they are totally willing to make you eat 1,000 empty calories to try and find it. Moving right along to Section 2, the physical triage, biological budget cuts. You have to realize your body is an absolute master of budgeting. It operates much like a really strict financial manager during an economic crisis. When vital nutrient supplies get incredibly tight, the first priority is absolutely non-negotiable. It has to send all the good stuff directly to the critical organs that keep you alive, like the heart and the liver. But what happens after that? Well, it has to make some severe budget cuts. It instantly cuts funding to what it considers luxury items. And to your body's survival-focused operating system, luxury items are your hair, your skin, and your nails. I mean, it is far too busy keeping your lungs moving to worry about maintaining a glowing complexion. Think of moody, unpredictable skin or constantly breaking, brittle nails as your body's check engine light flashing brightly on the dashboard. It's essentially telling you, hey, I am working overtime, just keeping the lungs moving up here, so could you please send some omega-3s down so we can do some surface maintenance? It's pretty straightforward. You simply cannot put low-grade, empty fuel into a car and then expect the exterior paint job to magically fix itself. If you want the exterior to look healthy, you absolutely have to provide the exact structural building blocks the body needs to construct it. Now we're getting into the deep stuff. Section 3, system failure, brain fog, and immune crashes.
Moving into the more systemic issues, we hit brain fog, or what I like to affectionately call the phone search. Come on, do you ever walk into a room with intense, clear purpose, only to stand there completely forgetting why you even walked in? Or, okay, even worse, have you ever frantically searched your pockets for your phone while you are literally using it to talk to someone? Yeah, we usually just brush this off, right? We blame our fast-paced lives or stress, but your brain is the most high-maintenance organ you own. It demands very specific items to perform its high-level processing, specifically choline and vitamin D. Without an adequate supply of those, the crucial communication hotline between your gut and your brain just starts dropping the signal. When you're feeling mentally dimmed down, it really just comes down to simple, undeniable biology. It is exactly like trying to run a state-of-the-art supercomputer on a single, dying AA battery. You might be taking in plenty of calories overall, but if they are the wrong kind of energy, your cognitive processing speed just crashes. That is precisely what is happening inside your head when you lack those specific brain-boosting nutrients. The hardware is totally fine, but the power supply is completely inadequate for the software you are trying to run. Another major systemic warning is a severely slowed recovery rate. Think of your immune system as this massive, bustling construction zone. If a tiny little paper cut takes 3 full weeks to finally heal, or you seem to catch every single cold that circulates the office like it's some sort of rare collector's item, your immune system is entirely failing you. An immune system lacking crucial elements like vitamin C and amino acids is essentially a highly trained construction crew that has shown up to the job site with absolutely no bricks or lumber. Sure, you might be eating enough food overall to pay the crew, but if you don't give them the actual physical materials, you're basically paying them to just stand around an empty dirt lot. They simply cannot do the critical work to repair your house. All right, let's bring it all together. Section 4, the final verdict. Full, but starving. The absolutely crucial takeaway from all of these wild distress signals comes down to the exact, uncompromising demands of your cells. To recap, they absolutely need B12 and iron to generate true, lasting energy. They require magnesium and zinc to regulate your nervous system and finally call off those hostage negotiation cravings. They demand omega-3s to maintain the structural integrity of your skin and hair. They need choline and vitamin D to keep your brain firing rapidly, and vitamin C and amino acids to actively rebuild those immune system defenses. The harsh, unavoidable reality here is that our highly processed modern food system makes it incredibly easy to walk around feeling physically stuffed with calories, but incredibly hard to be genuinely, fundamentally nourished unless you are consciously seeking out these exact building blocks. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final, essential question to ponder today. Are you just feeding your taste buds for the next 10 minutes, or are you actually fueling yourselves for the rest of the day? You really don't have to keep living like that bored teenager, constantly raiding the fridge for something your body desperately needs but can't even properly name. It is time to stop growing in the wrong direction. Start listening to those hidden biological cries for help and intentionally choose foods that actually communicate with your cells. Fuel up for the long haul. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this deeply changes how you look at your very next meal.